if you're buying Bitcoin with a time horizon of less than 4 years, I don't think you should buy it. For money that you need, like in our business, we have $50 million in US dollar, and we have that as working capital for stuff we think we need in the 12-month period. So we calculate the full fluctuation or volatility of our cash needs over the next 12 months. We keep that in a very stable currency that's denominated in the same units as the obligations. And then stuff we're not going to need, we call treasury, and then we invest in our treasury assets. We invest in Bitcoin, but my advice to anybody would be establish a treasury policy, and the right thing to hold for a decade would be a portfolio of scarce assets that will go up in value in the face of inflation. So I'm biased toward Bitcoin, but if you're not going to do Bitcoin, I mean, for God's sake, buy a nice house you want to live in forever. Right? Buy furniture you want to use forever. Buy commodities, that you can use. Buy if you want to buy stock, buy high quality stocks that you think will be able to raise their revenues or their cash flows faster than the rate of money expansion. I would rather own Apple and Facebook and Google, like a dominant digital monopoly that can, Apple can roll out a new product to 1 billion people over the weekend. So their ability to create value is higher. I wouldn't own a 19th century manufacturer because there's no way they can deploy a product to 1 billion people over the weekend. So buy companies that will last for the long term. Buy assets that people will want over the long term. Buy something scarce, something desirable. Because if I increase the amount of US dollars by a factor of 10, ask yourself the question, will the stuff that I own be 10 times more valuable or not? No one's ever lost money buying Bitcoin and holding it over 4 years. But if you want something to not fluctuate in value in 4 weeks or 4 months, then you should buy something else. So it all comes down to time horizon. The volatility itself is because it's not controlled. It's a global market. Anybody can trade it 24/7. If people could trade Apple stock on Saturday night in Singapore with 10x leverage, okay, you would have more volatility in Apple stock, right? But so what you've got exchanges that give you a lot more leverage. You can get, you can read something on Twitter at 10:32 p.m. on Saturday night and panic, and then you can sell it. And then someone else will pile onto that. And there are reasons it's volatile. One reason is because it trades with 10x leverage. No one trades with more than 2x leverage on the US stock exchange. With equity, you can't. So it trades with more leverage. It trades everywhere in the world. The other reason it's more volatile is because it's property, not a security. And that means it's not subject to the 30-day wash rule. The IRS says if you were to dump Apple stock right now at a 20% loss, you have to wait 30 days to buy it back. And so you would think, well, I like it long term, so I think I'll take my lumps and I'm just going to hold it. I'm not going to trade it. You can't dump it on Saturday night while you're drunk. You can't dump it on 10x leverage, and you can't dump it on Saturday night with 10x leverage and buy it back on Sunday morning. You see? But okay, so Bitcoin and crypto in general, it's the Wild West. It's true price discovery. It's true freedom. There is more volatility. We could say, oh, this is a bad thing, but is it really a bad thing? Because on one hand, you would say the hedge funds will sell $1 billion at a 20% loss, knowing they can buy it back 4 hours later and harvest the tax gain. You could say that's a bad thing, but you could say that's a good thing because hedge funds everywhere in the world think this is a much more favorable asset class to trade. It depends on how you look at it, but anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000 a coin. Gold's like a $10 trillion asset class. Some of it's jewelry, though. 4 billion, 5 billion is jewelry. So the monetary portion of gold is $5 to $6 trillion, and so that means Bitcoin goes up to 300,000, 350,000 if it just replaces that monetary supply.
Before we continue, help us by smashing that YouTube like button and subscribe now to this channel. This shows the algorithm that you value the information, and it helps us spread this message. Sharing is caring. Please like and subscribe now. Thank you. And now, let's continue.
There's one important point to make. It's an open protocol that's permissionless, which means that any company on Earth and anybody can adopt it anytime they want. And so I think we're adding 3 million people a week, and it is spreading faster than anything else. It's the fastest growth of a digital network in the history of the world, faster than Google or Facebook or Apple to value. But now, how does it spread? Well, look, like MicroStrategy, one company starts buying it, and now every one of our shareholders, every one of our employees, every one of our debt holders. I just saw a bond issuance and 100 institutions, and they collectively represent about $20 trillion of assets participated. So one way it happens is corporations get involved. Another way is all the banks are getting involved, and the banks will deliver it. I think Coinbase added 1 million accounts a week. Bill's company's adding millions of accounts. Binance is. Square is adding millions and millions of accounts. So it's going to be spread by big tech. Ultimately, I think that the most powerful dynamic's going to be 6 billion mobile phones with Bitcoin software or Bitcoin assets on the mobile phone. I mean, that's how you really deliver it to the world. But you can't underestimate the power. Like when an insurance company buys Bitcoin and they've got, or Fidelity's got 20 million customers, an insurance company's got 50 million customers. When they buy Bitcoin, you just delivered an insurance policy that's a derivative of Bitcoin to 50 million people, right? If a government, if El Salvador buys Bitcoin, then any currency issued by El Salvador becomes a Bitcoin derivative. Like, here's a good idea. Turkey goes and prints Turkish lira, buys billions of dollars of Bitcoin, announces it, and now everybody in Turkey is carrying Turkish lira, which is a Bitcoin derivative. It's backed by Bitcoin in their pocket. So this spreads in lots of different ways. Every corporation, every government, in essence, can create derivatives of Bitcoin simply by owning the Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And every big tech company can build Bitcoin and the protocol into their software. Is there any one? No, there's like 10,000 entities that are acting simultaneously, independently. You know, there's stuff going on in Korea and Japan right now, and Singapore and China we don't even know about. And the beauty of Bitcoin is you saw the president said, we're just going to take our volcano and we're going to punch a hole and we're going to vent out 95 megawatts of power. 95 megawatts of power will generate 3 exahash, which will give you 3%, almost 3% of the revenues of the Bitcoin network, which means 3% of $20 billion.
What to do in such a situation? Inform yourself and keep your financial education strong. We from the Compact Group offer our loyal subscribers a free educational portal with first-hand monetary, financial, and economic knowledge. Enter our invite-only Insider Club by clicking the link below. You will get access to first-class information far earlier than the rest. We have prepared a special deal for all our members where you can access a giant pool of Robert Kiyosaki's financial wisdom for just $1. To find out more, simply click the link below and join our Insider Club absolutely free. But there is more you can and should do. Build up several streams of income. More and more people realize that they have to take their future in their own hands, but they don't know how and where to start. We from Compact offer our Insider Club members unique opportunities. Strengthen your financial muscle and get the edge. Click the link below. Become part of our free Insider Club. No financial obligations. But there's one important thing you have to know. You have to become active. So do it now. Become active and see you on the other side.